It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Michael.
And this week, Star Wars Celebration sets the tone for the next few years of movies and shows over there.
I didn't even know it was happening this weekend. So this whole episode is a surprise to me.
I honestly always assume it's on May the 4th weekend. I always assume it ends on May the 4th, or at least is in May 4th. And boy, was I surprised as well. So pleasant surprises. Like good wake up and find those because they were in Japan this year. Fantastic Four dropped a Galactus size trailer.
Yeah, we didn't even have to wait for Thunderbolts to be in theaters. We got it a couple weeks early.
That's right. No announcements, no pomp and circumstance, drop, and like the internet was aflame. We look back at Daredevil Born Again. Season 1 just wrapped up this week.
This is me getting confirmation that Chris finished watching it.
Yeah, and more.
Yeah, it is a absolutely gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in
Easter
LA.
Sunday. Happy Easter. Hoppity hop.
Yes, Chris, I it's crazy because we don't really get all up in that holiday here in this household, but also weirdly, it's like it's probably the most singularly religious holiday in a broad sense in the United States. You know, obviously there's Christmas, but everybody indulges in Christmas, even if they're not, religious in any way. But like Easter is weirdly the most religious, but also the most prolific, even though there's still just like Easter egg folks out there. But me and the wife were just like, well, let's go get some stuff done today. So we ran like down the street, expecting to hop in the Lowe's and get some lumber so we can properly install some baby gates in the house. We're like, okay, Lowe's is totally closed. Target's totally closed. Half of these stores are totally closed. It's so weird. I always forget that businesses just totally shut down on. But it's different where I know it's a little different where you're from because you're like right where the southern part of the United States starts.
It's also
well, this is supposed to be godless Los Angeles.
Yeah,
like, why aren't my stores open?
Well, it's also weird because it's not a federal holiday, right? Like it's one of those things where like businesses can pick or choose if they want to give you Easter Friday or Monday off, if you will, or Good Friday. So it's like my sister-in-law works at a bank. She had to work Friday. Her husband works in the furniture industry. He had Friday off, and I was like, this is really weird as well. But we were lucky enough to knock on wood, not run into anything. We had to visit my family for lunch, which wasn't bad. It's a beautiful day out. It was like sit outside kind of weather, which is kind of hit or miss in mid-April, but it was nice. And obviously we were big snackies. All the Easter candy is going to go on sale today or tomorrow. I don't know if you saw any on sale today early while you were out there.
I saw Easter candy on sale on Friday.
Oh, really?
Like they were like CVS must have decided everybody loaded up on what they needed already for the Easter baskets because they were like doing 2 for $1 on the Reese's eggs already. I'm like, what? We haven't even hit Easter. Sometimes I forget Easter is even happening until I'm in the store and I see a Reese's egg.
Yeah.
And I was like, then I had to do a double take. I'm like, is that a football? No, it's an egg. Okay, Easter is right around the corner.
Well, it's funny because like in terms of Reese's, like you got today the new flavors with the Reese's cups with jelly. And I have only seen you got grape and strawberry because they're two different ones. I was able to find strawberry, but it was hidden in with the Easter eggs, like the Reese's eggs container. And I'm like, oh, I cannot wait for all this Easter candy to get the hell out of my way so I can see all the good stuff coming.
Out of here,
because I don't want your eggs. I want the flavored ones as well. So that was fun to see on that.
Yeah, but it's an absolutely beautiful day, which means the only thing Chris and I really want to do is go inside and talk about things that we watch on our screen.
Yeah, exactly. Before I got a topic here. It's not really a topic, but I shared it with Mike because I've seen it for the past week, and I'm like, why does this sound familiar? It's a movie by Genndy Tartakovsky called is it Neutered or Fixed, the adult animation about the pets, which was dropped by Warner Brothers when they were doing all these movie cuts for tax reasons, has been picked up and saved and gets like an August release, which not only that, but Looney Tunes got purchased, right, and it will be released later. Was it Coyote versus Acme, I think is what it's called. Boy, am I hoping that Batwoman or Batgirl movie gets picked up as well somewhere down the road.
Yeah, like maybe just like a quiet release on like a Tubi or like a Pluto TV, something. I don't know exactly how it gets out in the world. It almost seems like too high profile and like conflicting with guns trying to do.
Amazon could do it. Amazon is like released the Batman animated series, right? The new one. I forget what Gotham Knight, whatever it was called, right? The one that's essentially the spiritual sequel to the Batman the animated series. They're no stranger to buying things that are like just sitting there to throw in their service.
Give it to Catch Up Entertainment. They're saving everything else over there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's exactly 3 ways Batgirl makes it out into the world. One is Superman comes out, just bombs, nobody likes it, the whole gun DC Saffron universe just absolutely crumbles to oblivion. And then they just pivot to like Matt Reeves as Batman, and they just, I don't know, try to figure it out. I'm not saying that's likely, but if everything starts to crumble, they're just like, okay, this Batgirl movie is not going to disturb anything. Just put it out there in the world. The second possibility, which I think is the most likely, is that it just leaks. Somebody somewhere says, screw my NDA. I worked hard on this in some aspect, put it out there on the internet. People start watching it. And I think the third way, which is just 10, 20 years down the line, there's some sort of like historical, like on Batman Day, there's some sort of just like vintage release of finally see the movie or something like that where, it's so far gone, contracts are expired and what, yada, yada.
It happened with the Fantastic Four movie from the 90s. Eventually, someone had a copy and put it online eventually. I still think there's opportunity. I think Warner Brothers is hard up enough for cash that they would sell. They'd be like, all right, fine. Well, we're gonna get the insurance money. Statute of limitations has expired. They can't take that back, and we're gonna get my extra money for it. Hell, give it to Amazon. Give it to Netflix. We don't care anymore. We don't have to say. No one knows it's gonna be connected to gun stuff or not. But it will. I think. Was it kind of connected to? Who was the carryover? The commissioner? Was it the Batman's commissioner, or was it the Snyderverse's commissioner?
I thought the commissioner was it J.K. Simmons in that one?
It was. I'm going to pull it up here. The Batgirl film, J.K. Simmons. Yeah, so this would be Snyderverse, DC Extended Universe stuff. This and the Ayer cut on Amazon, Mike, I'd be watching them all weekend.
Oh my gosh, sure.
Yeah, right. But anyways, long story short, Genndy Tartakovsky's Fixed movie will be animated. Fixed will be released eventually later this year. So another save from the gutting at Warner Brothers. Moving into, we got a bunch of footage to talk about this week. Look at first and foremost, we're going to drop into this with 28 years later. We had a teaser for this upcoming threequel, the third movie in the 28 days, 28 weeks, and now 28 years later movie has dropped, showing a very more intense movie than I thought it would be. Looks like Aaron Taylor Johnson and his kid are living on an island with a bunch of people, and on this island where the zombies can't get to them, they go out and they venture mainland in England, and that's where things kind of get crazy. I'm excited for this, Mike. I'm not a zombie movie person, but those first two just have like a special place because they had like the fast moving zombies, like the rage virus people were so different and so standoutish.
I struggle to remember exactly how the first two films ended. I know the first one's kind of the breakout. It's only been a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
28 days.
28 days
if I
specifically. Yeah.
The second one is when it kind of takes place in like London. Like people started to kind of like concentrate and build more society. But the takeaway I get from this trailer is things did not get better. Things got worse.
Yeah.
Only small communities living on islands are safe, and then you're just kind of like, good luck if you go out into the mainland. So this will be bloody fun, bloody good fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first one ends with like Cillian Murphy's guy like living like out in like a remote cottage. I think so. I think he's gonna be in this movie or the next one. I know he's like a producer, so obviously they'll probably return him. The first one was more militarized kind of thing, right? Like like the military was kind of doing stuff with the infections. But I'm excited to go back to this. And then for people who don't know, there's also it was filmed after this, like almost back to back. 20 years later, The Bone Temple with most of the cast: Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ray Fiennes, returning for this very quick sequel right around the corner, if you will, for that. So, pretty excited to return to it. What was it? Danny Boyle, right? Who did those coming back? So, pretty excited. So you can catch this trailer and let us know what you think of that. Other shows that I've not thought about in a long time, Mike, movie series, I guess, if you will, franchises. Pacific Rim is getting a prequel series at Amazon, with co-produced with Legendary, who owns the titles. And this is
interested.
Yeah, and this is from screenwriter Eric Heisserer, who wrote the screen treatment for the movie Arrival, which is the guy who did Dune. That guy directed it, and the series Shadow and Bone. So,
I would love to see kind of like redemption for the sequels in a way.
Yep.
Redemption as in like I didn't like the sequels, so I'd like the story to still continue. So maybe if like they get a couple seasons under their belt and people are liking it, maybe they can kind of do a bit of a time jump, possibly. And then we could kind of go to this other dimension that we kind of briefly saw.
I think a prequel is great because like there's decades in between, like when the first monster appears and how they build the stuff. So it'd be cool to see like proto versions of the bots and how they're building them and stuff like that. But like I agree with you. Pacific Rim 1 and Pacific Rim Uprising remind me a lot of Independence Day and Independence Day 2. Where Independence Day one's fun, right? It's just a fun journey, some dudes beating back aliens against all odds, right? Independence Day 2, much like Pacific Rim Uprising, they were like, oh, we're gonna beat them all, then we're gonna go to their planets and kick their ass, and then they did so bad and they were so awful that they didn't even follow up on that promise that they threatened us with for either of those, because everything was too shiny, everything was too new. Even Charlie Day couldn't save Pacific Rim Uprising, right?
Yeah.
From that.
Now you might be screaming at your podcast machine if we don't acknowledge the anime that Netflix made, but I just wasn't interested in that really at all. So
I watched it, but it's very like it has nothing to do with the movies really. So like you could like watch it or not watch it and be fine. Like I watched the first season and I'm like, okay, this is fine, but like it has nothing to do with the movies at all. Just like a brother and sister have like one of the mechs.
Yeah. Well, also the unique selling proposition of Pacific Rim was always that it was live action big robots. Like if you're turning it into an animation, okay, there's thousands of options I have that come straight out of Japan with big old robots in it, in all shapes and varieties. I don't really need this.
That the animated show would have been better served to actually probably be set in that other dimension where the aliens come from, or the big kaiju come from, because that's cheaper to make than CGI in it the whole way, right? Like rather than like, oh, here's desolate America, or no, it's desolate Australia, I think is where they were. No, you don't need to animate that. We can animate the other dimension and show like maybe a prequel or something of the other side of the world or of that universe, but anyways, obviously Eric Heisserer, I love Arrival. It's a really cool alien movie. Seeing some prequel series at Amazon, they've been doing some cool stuff. This feels a lot like what Legendary is also doing with Godzilla and King Kong, right? Like doing the prequel series like they had on Apple TV Plus, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, maybe like you said, picking up with some movies later on. So we'll keep you guys posted with that. Shifting gears into Star Wars Celebration. We are on the cusp of 30 years of Episode 3 this year, Mike. Do you know that? Are you? I only know this because it's coming to theaters and I keep seeing the popcorn buckets for it, because that's now all I get in my algorithm is popcorn buckets, and they're just kind of not that cool, if you will. But anyways, we're on 30 years of Episode 3. The Star Wars Celebration was happening in Japan, and we've got some interesting news. Not like some new announcements and then some updates as well. So we just dive into them a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, first and foremost, the only Star Wars thing I think we had confirmed before this week is the Mandalorian Grogu movie that was filming last year is coming out May 2026, next May in theaters, and they showed off a full trailer in there that is leaked online. However, a lot of these leaks have been pulled offline, so if you want to search for them, you can find the leaks. But boy, there was a lot more action in this trailer, because you sent it to me as well, than I was really expecting out of a Mandalorian Grogu movie at the end of the day.
Yeah, I organically scrolled across it in my TikTok feed, and it was somebody just in the auditorium, like filming it on their phone. So I don't know if there was or wasn't a lot of security there, or what the deal was.
Japan's different, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe they just assumed nobody would even attempt it, and it happened. But there's a lot of cool. I feel like this is going to be the Dave Filoni like wish fulfillment movie of just all the stuff he's ever wanted to see in Star Wars. He finally has the big scale reason to do it. Like the shot that sticks out in my mind was the big. Was it not the AT-AT walkers? What are the four-legged ones? AT-STs?
No, AT-ATs are the big ones. AT-STs are the two-legged ones.
Yeah, I guess some people maybe call them AT-AT walkers, but there was like 3 of them like going up like a narrow cliffside.
Yeah.
And, like one of them like tumbles down. I was like, oh, this is a really cool visual, and also reminds me that there's a lot of impractical machinery in Star Wars. Like you got things that can fly. You don't need something walking on 4 legs. But it was still cool. So yeah, it made me more excited because that last season left a bad taste in my mouth. So. Yeah, looking forward to this movie.
And it's a movie. So what was cool to me, like I said, the AT-AT, like them being like it's a scene, an extended scene of the Mandalorian and obviously Grogu going through the body of this AT-AT to like knock it down, which is obviously what we know from watching Empire Strikes Back, right? Like you knock them out, they fall on their face because they're like essentially like big camels, if you will, at the end of the day. Then we get to see the first look at Sigourney Weaver, who I believe is she has like a rebel patch on her shoulder, so she's like running the it's not Rebel Alliance, but whatever it is, like the people who are hiring Mandalorian as like mercenaries, right, to help him out. The image you can see in the podcast video feed is Grogu, Mandalorian, and Zeb Orrelios from Star Wars Rebels, who'll be making an appearance in another thing we got. And then we get to see, was it Grogu? He like dismantled a mouse droid with the Force powers. He just like lifted it and disassembled it real quick, which was really fun to see him kind of go up against one of those little dudes. Because I've never seen the inside of a mouse droid, Mike. That was the first time I ever saw that.
Also, the little droid dudes that like walk around in Galaxy's Edge at the park, they're finally canon within the Star Wars universe. Like I think Sigourney Weaver is the one that like pals around with them or something. I don't know exactly, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it's gonna be cool. I'm excited for this. Like again, the Mandalorian was an interesting. I think I would say it's an experiment of a show, right? Like, hey, here's a show. We've created this volume to film it in. It's going straight to streaming. It's premium television for Disney. We've never done it before. It's the first show. We've introduced the brand new little baby character that everyone's gonna love and swoon over, and it's kind of come to the end of its run here. But hopefully, again, we've talked about this movie will use real life sets and kind of like take that to the next level a little bit. I do believe there's also a scene we know that is it something one of the Hutt children from the Clone Wars, the first Clone Wars movie, is in this, and he's like a gladiator. Did you see that little? Have you seen the image online of the buff Hutt character that's in there for like a split second frame?
Oh, the Jeremy Allen White's Hutt
character? Yeah. The one he's playing who's like very, very buff, like in an arena. So like, I there's a lot about this movie. I know a lot about leaked information, supposedly, about the rest of the movies in our upcoming list here. But I know very little about the Mandalorian Grogu movie. So very excited to be surprised next year. And I think we'll probably get a trailer maybe after Andor wraps up. Isn't our last project currently out there? So we'll keep you guys posted if we get more. moving along, another surprise announcement from Star Wars Celebration is the movie Star Wars Starfighter, which is Shawn Levy's movie we've been talking about, theorizing over the past several years, and it's dated for May 28th, 2027, with Ryan Gosling confirmed to star in this movie.
Yeah, this is how I learned Star Wars Celebration was happening. You sent me like I think a screenshot or something of just the logo. And at first I was like, what am I looking at here? Because they announce Star Wars video games all the time. I was like, is this the video game? Then I saw Starfighter and I was like, oh, is this like Patty Jenkins' movie? Or did they retitle
That's what I
it? What's
thought,
happening here? And then everything kind of slowly starts to come in like, oh, there's a bunch of announcements happening this weekend. And Ryan Gosling's a big get. I mean, I know you have this here in the show notes, but you immediately told me that this takes place 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker, which is the most exciting part to me because there is just so much baggage in the past of the Star Wars universe. Yeah, I know there's tons of fans that would love to see more of like the High Republic, or are we still going all the way back to the very first Jedi? Is that movie still in development? I don't know.
It is. They did say that, but they didn't have anything to show. But
it's nice to press on forward with like a different character, right? Because like everyone loves and hates Star Wars in their own unique, special way. At least when something is brand new and moving forward with a new director, new actor, at least you kind of are starting with a blank slate, and you can't hate it quite yet right out the gate, right?
Yeah. Well, exactly. And I think one of the things I wouldn't say it's a fault of Star Wars, but like when George Lucas did episodes 4, 5, and 6, and then went back and did 1, 2, and 3. And then came back to do, does he want to do 7, 8, 9? Well, obviously we lost Carrie Fisher, who passed away. That's like, you don't want your actors to age out because you're waiting too long if you want to bring them back, right? Like, not saying Rey is going to show up in any of these movies, or Finn or Poe, but like, if you want anyone from those 3 movies to make an appearance, like, do it like sooner than later, rather than waiting 30 years, 40 years before saying, hey, we should probably bring them back, right? Like, right now, like we'll talk about here in a second that Hayden Christensen coming back for Ahsoka, like they waited 25 to almost 30 years here to bring him back for more. Like bring if you're gonna do it, start moving forward now, and maybe you can bring those characters in naturally as they age up if you want to. However, as you said, this is not connected to any other film currently. It is not a part of the Skywalker saga. It is not part of The Mandalorian and stuff Dave Filoni doing. This is a brand new film, standalone on its own, new characters, and like I said, Ryan Gosling. I can't think of a bad Ryan Gosling movie, Mike, recently in at all. If I sat down and thought hard enough. So I have a lot of faith that he's not choosing bad projects right now because he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to choose things he doesn't want to do. So
and
pretty excited.
And Shawn Levy, he's a safe choice. I told you. He doesn't excite me, but he also doesn't worry me either. So that's at least that's a safe direction moving forward.
Yep.
I'm just really curious what does the galaxy look like now? I would hope, for the most part, the bad guys have been vanquished for all intents and purposes. The Emperor, he ain't coming back. He's dead. Yeah. They blew up his entire planet, or they
somehow the Emperor has returned again.
So it'll be interesting to see what's like a new organic threat that comes out of this. We can't just have a whole nother run of space Nazis again. Like, I feel like, is that just going to be the DNA of this galaxy? Space Nazis are just ebbing and flowing throughout the decades. So I'll be kind of curious to see if they do something new and original there.
Yeah. I hope, honestly, Starfighter sounds a lot like maybe, to me, this feels very akin to make like Solo. Like there's rogue groups, there's like thief guilds, like people like a power vacuum, right? The Empire, the new Empire's home planets were blown up. The New Order has been essentially destroyed. So what's this power vacuum like? Who's taking over? What's the trade route? So I think it'll be that. Hopefully, it's not just a bunch of space fighting. Like with ships, like space fights are cool in Star Wars, yes, but like if you get Ryan Gosling, you just don't want him sitting in a cockpit for most of the movie, right? Like you want him doing stuff. So that would be my biggest concern, to see kind of how he plays into this, and maybe he's that character Dash Rendar from the early 2000s, late 90s video games. It was Dark Forces, stuff like that. So I doubt it. I'm just kidding. I don't think he's going to be a Jedi, but very excited for this. As soon as we get more details, we'll share with you guys. But obviously, May 28th, 2027. So they've got a date on this. They're going to get into production later this year. Another leaked trailer that we got is for Ahsoka Season 2. And what was really fun about this trailer, Mike, and I think you saw it as well. I made sure you got it right. A copy of this is that it's essentially like a retro style propaganda like presentation with like maybe just concept art. Like there's no footage. I don't think they're filming yet, but like they really kind of like set the tone of like here's where things here's where things are, and here's where things are probably gonna go with the concept art. And then of this stuff, there's a couple cool shots of like some of the zombie troopers, possibly a couple Night Sister looking demon things. But the biggest takeaway from this, Mike, is we lost Ray Stevenson after, or was it right before Ahsoka came out, right? Like right before the show debuted, and they were like, well, Baylan Skoll is essentially the flip side of the coin to Ahsoka. Both are like, they were Jedi, but now they're not. So what it's going to be? So they had to recast him. With friend of Ray Stevenson, even actor Rory McCann, and we got our first look at him in his Baylan Skoll outfit, which looks just as menacing as Ray Stevenson did, if I was to be honest. So
it's a good pivot. He's a recognizable face from Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me. Well, actually, don't correct me because I don't even know. So I'll just ask you: does season 2 come out before Mandalorian and Grogu?
I know they've not even started filming this yet, so they've got it.
Oh, okay.
I think Mandalorian and Grogu will come out, and then this will be probably next summer. So, because I don't even think they gave a release date for it. I think they just said it was coming soon as well. But I'm excited for this. I thought the presentation was really fun. They leaned into, I don't think you've watched Star Wars Rebels, Mike, but maybe you watched a recap of like, there's a droid in there called Chopper, who's like essentially R2D, but he's like homicidal, if you will. Like he loves killing people to a degree. Like he's like, yeah, I'll absolutely get. And they showed him behind like a machine gun turret in this, like shooting people from a ship, which I'm like, okay, it sounds like there's gonna be some more action. Obviously, Ahsoka season 1, it's not the strongest show in the world. It's fun. It's great for fans, but they need to bring a lot of more people in, and I really hope they can stick the landing with season 2 with this. And also, since season 1 has come out, Dave Filoni is now is it creative director or whatever at Lucasfilm. He's now in charge of the stories for everything, so I think he might have a little more ability to tell it rather than answer to a lot of executives and red tape above him. Moving on into this is probably the most surprising announcement, is a series for Disney Plus called Maul Shadow Lord. So we are getting a Darth Maul series in 2026 on Disney Plus, and I think the trailer's been also taken down, but if you can probably find it online, but it shows that this is Clone Wars, and this is essentially the Clone Wars animation style. And it reveals Darth Talon's debut. And if I said, Mike, do you know who Darth Talon is in any way, shape, or form? I'm going to send you, you can probably Google it, but I'm just going to send you an image to our text messages. And this is probably the most, I thought this was essentially fan art for the longest time before I found out that she was in comic books and the extended legacy of it.
I could see how this character on the cover would sell a comic book.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's very a lot of red skin showing.
Yeah, so she's a Twi'lek, a red Twi'lek who has like the longer, I guess, tendrils, or Leku, I guess, down that has been tattooed in Darth Maul's skin pattern style. So she's got these Sith tattoos covering her body, and she essentially is a evil Sith. So this show is set between Maul's last appearance in the Clone Wars, which we saw in the finale of whenever the ship wrecked and Ahsoka survived, and then his debut in Rebels, I think season 2 or 3. So they're going to just be telling the story, like, how did he go from disappearing from the Empire, the new Empire, to reappearing right before Rebels, and what was he up to? So he's going to have obviously an apprentice of some sort who will probably be Darth Talon. They may not give her the Darth name, but they probably will because it feels like a fan servicey show. And Sam Witwer, who voiced Darth Maul in all the Clone Wars and all the other stuff he's been in, is returning to voice the character. So very excited to kind of continue this. I was really hoping when they announced this, it was like a live action series that would pick up after his appearance in Solo, like where they kind of tease him there at the end as like running the crime syndicate. But it sounds like we're just going to be getting an animated version here, kind of along the way instead. They could bring that story in, but I don't think so.
This is about 1 or 2 levels too far removed from the main continuity for me. So this is going to be a no-go for me. But I always look forward to like fun clips showing up in my social media feed. So that's probably how I'll end up experiencing this.
Yeah. I love, again, I'm a huge fan of the Clone Wars, all the stuff, all the seasons they've done across time with that stuff, Rebels. And I know they always give Darth Maul hella good action scenes. Like, I'm very excited to see kind of what they can do with that, because obviously he is was a Sith apprentice, Sith master at some point, and almost took down Palpatine at one point. So I'm very excited to see kind of what they do with the action scenes with him going forward. Moving on we're going to shift gears to Star Wars for you. If anything else comes, I think there was some other video game stuff, but I'm not here to announce video games that I'm probably not going to play and some other things. So if anything else comes out, Star Wars Celebration, we'll let you guys know. But we're going to shift gears over into Superman. Superman, a behind-the-scenes video was dropped this week as well for Superman, Mike. And this was very interesting because I don't know if I've ever heard Peter Safran talk before. And that's like the only thing sticking out of this video. Was
that
talking.
was kind of like a jump scare. Like you hear him before you see him, and then all of a sudden you kind of get like this neck up shot of Peter Safran, and it's like looking directly at the sun. Like, you didn't shave for this, man? What's going on here?
Yeah. So it was definitely interesting. But one thing about this, everything we see about Superman for a little bit tends to rely on like one figure that's not Superman. And this behind the scenes like leans a lot into Metamorpho, if you will, the character who's like looks like half purple, half the Thing, and he's got like weird kind of markings on his face a little bit. Like that shot has been pulled out of this and beat to death, as far as I can tell, across all the promotions here. But like a couple of cool things we get to see. About a minute 39 in, we see what we assume is Lex Luthor's power armor. I don't know if you've come across that screenshot yet. It's kind of at a distance. We're not up close.
It's like silhouetted in a doorway, right?
Yeah, like a circular kind of capsule, if you will. So that's kind of cool. And then there's also, I couldn't find it myself, and I probably could if I went back and watched it, but a white Martian is teased. Like they really left a lot of Easter eggs in the backgrounds for some of these shots here, and I've included that in our show notes here if you want to find the link to the white Martian as well, and the reference from the comic books. It looks like maybe Lex Luthor has been capturing superpowered people or aliens.
We had that Superman like sneak peek the other week, and then we have this behind the scenes. Like, I don't want to look into it all too much because I know obviously they need to promote this brand new kind of kickstart off this universe. But I'm getting like unsettling like Dark Universe vibes a little bit because they're like literally saying the parts out loud that they shouldn't be just yet, of like, this is the start of a brand new universe. Like, this is a brand new path ahead for DC. And it's just like, oh, I'm not saying it won't be good, but don't say it out loud. You're going to jinx it. So I really want this movie to be good. I'm going to make sure I get a babysitter for this one so I can see it like on opening night. But I want this movie to be
Yeah, like you mentioned, you're the only, not the only person I've heard this week outside of this talk about like how it's like giving Dark Universe vibes, how like, oh, everybody exists here, and good luck. Hopefully we could get actual Superman time in a Superman movie, right? Kind of along the way. I don't want to know many story details. I'd love to be surprised, but I feel like we're gonna be, as we go into blockbuster movie season, we got Thunderbolts and everything else kind of ramping up in May, that we are going to be inundated with a multitude of Superman stuff, Mike. Like really random weird stuff like Nathan Fillion's bowl cut. Remember that from the Super Bowl? To like, hey, do you see this guy with like a purple arm? How how cool is it that we're not using CGI? He's really wearing the outfit, kind of thing. So hopefully they don't spoil anything too much. But this was kind of fun to look at, kind of along the way, just to watch. But I'm like, nothing I need to revisit, I guess, if you will, along the way. Moving on, I just mentioned Thunderbolts because that is coming out in less than 2 weeks, right? I think maybe it's 2 weeks from. I lost a week here. Yeah, a week and a half. May 1st for me. May 2nd. If you go on Friday, so I'm going to Thursday, May 1st. So very, very excited for that. And we got a final trailer release for this movie, which is fun because they mentioned specifically the void, Mike, which is cool. And they're really setting up, I guess, the what they're fighting here. That there is a villain, and it's not just, hey, we have to go get Val or we have to kill each other, right, kind of thing. So a lot of setup for Bucky, a lot of history here for Yelena, some flashbacks, stuff like that. I'm excited. Obviously, I'm again biased because of Century, but I am excited as this kind of ramps up to get ready. But I will be not watching any more trailers going forward for this, right? Mm-hmm. Tickets on sale for everyone who didn't hear. Was it last week? I think we said tickets were on sale. So get your tickets while you can and see the Thunderbolts when it drops May 1st, May 2nd. And we're going to quickly shift gears over into Fantastic Four First Steps because this trailer, Mike, landed huge this week. Did not expect this at all. Absolutely fantastic. Pun intended, if you will. Love to see, obviously, we get to see a lot more of the Thing. We get to see Sue Storm's powers. We get the confirmation, Mike, that she is, in fact, pregnant in this movie, which has been rumored forever. And not to sell ourselves short, the first stretching appearance of Mr. Fantastic. During a big action scene.
We get to see some stretching finally. Silver Surfer.
Oh, yes, Silver Surfer.
We get to see a big old foot take a stomp down in the middle of the city, which is fun. We got confirmation of a baby. And it kind of seems, I think you theorized this on the podcast somewhat recently, but I can't get it out of my head when I watched the trailer that it almost seems like the birth of the baby is what's heralding kind of Galactus to Earth. So maybe there's some sort of like destiny, I don't know, something going on there.
But
something Galactus knows that everyone else doesn't know.
In the comic books unrelated to this, and they could pull it in, Franklin Richards has the ability to like create multiverses, like molecular level fucking abilities, right? Because of his parents' powers. So like if Galactus is like, well, I want someone who can give me any planet I want to eat, it's going to be that kid kind of thing, right? So maybe that's what he's looking for, someone to do that with. I don't know though. So.
And that would make sense of how maybe eventually they make it over to Doomsday, because we know for a fact, based on multiple chairs, that they're going to be there. So this is exciting. July is going to be absolutely wild. Yeah. Still waiting for that Jurassic World trailer. Didn't get that yet.
Well, we got the first one
coming up.
Yeah.
Is there something coming up where we're going to get another one, like get a better look at everything?
Yeah, well, they had a behind the scenes as well last week, I think, for that. But like, yeah, obviously we don't care about behind the scenes of Jurassic World. They're all CGI dinosaurs these days. Let's get something good. So hopefully they hit a right before Thunderbolts, a Jurassic World trailer. Also to call out a couple things here, we get to see the Fantastic Car towards the end of the trailer, around the 2-minute mark. There's also an exploding planet at about 1:51, Mike, and I was going to drop a theory on this because it looks like the Fantastic Four ship is going towards this exploding planet. So is this Earth and they don't save it? Like, is this the end of the movie kind of thing here? Is that what they're teasing? Or is it like maybe a dream they're having of their planet blowing up? Because I was like, damn, that's a deep shot to drop in a trailer this early on.
Yeah, like, is it possibly a vision in a way? You know, when the Silver Surfer shows up, obviously it's a visual medium, filmmaking. So could we be just kind of looking at somebody's imagination right now? They're just thinking about it happening. I don't know, but yeah, this is pretty freaking crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to call out is the tone of this trailer is that most Marvel movie trailers we get, or at least have gotten lately, even some of the Thunderbolts have been like very like comedic and like lighthearted, and short of Johnny Storm, pestering Pedro Pascal at the beginning, how he's going to be maybe not a good dad. This is like a very dour kind of like, we don't know if we're going to make it kind of trailer out of everything, right? Like this is a very interesting tonal shift in terms of Marvel marketing for their trailers, that it's not fun. It's not lighthearted. The Fantastic Four, like, the first one was kind of hopeful. This one doesn't feel as hopeful in some of these scenes. And like the people are asking them, hey, can you save us? And Reed's like, I don't know, kind of thing. So I'm excited to see how they possibly take some of this tone and work that into this. Like, right. Like we don't need comedies all the time. Yeah. There's some levity in these heavy moments, but this trailer really gave me the vibe that this is a serious movie and like there's a serious situation going on, and the Fantastic Four, like, we got to solve it. Like we can't just obviously punch Galactus out, but like we got to solve a problem or the world's going to get blown up. So I'm excited to see them also mix in with our, like you mentioned, Doomsday, the regular Marvel characters, right? When they get there, who is a little more brevity, if you will, in that situation. So, yeah, I'm excited for this. And then also, we included the IMAX trailer. I don't know if you got to see the IMAX trailer. Actually, it's a 1.9 ratio, so it's a little wider. And some of the shots, including where Pedro's stretching later on, you actually get to see he's stretching around this debris, and you get to see Galactus's, I think, arm or leg in the building, which is kind of cut off a little bit more in the regular version of the show. So very excited. Fantastic Four July is going, like you said, it's going to be popping off for us. We're going to be in the theaters quite a bit. You're going to have to get like a returning babies or like an on-call for like all these movies that month. So moving on to Avengers Doomsday. Mike, last week you made a call on these holes in the ground, and this week they've updated the sets on the holes in the ground.
This is like whole update. This is hilarious that we keep getting, like every week we get more news on these holes.
So these holes now have spaceship debris in them. So they're spaceship debris craters landing in there. And I've included a video to YouTube video that includes like an overview of this. I still think this walkway, the hedges, the greens, all the debris, it looks like a X-Men mansion, right? This looks like the X-Men courtyard where this stuff is happening. So I fully believe it is, but you can see like a little spaceship debris in some of these holes that they've added. I assume they're probably going to be adding more into these holes over the next couple of weeks as they keep updating the sets. So you can check out that link. And then also the second thing is 4 broken statues have been spotted on set through Unboxed PhD. Give them a shout out because they are flying a drone over all this stuff. And not the first photo, no, it's the second photo. The second photo, not the third photo. Looks like the backside of Jean Grey, because like there's shoulder pads on her and the lines down the arms.
Oh yeah.
So that's I think that's why, again, I think these are like maybe like Jean Grey was not in the cast list, right, for Doomsday.
Correct.
So maybe she's died in this universe, and there she is. The third one, someone said looks like Wolverine. I can't really confirm or deny that, but it looks definitely like a person. So I think these were statues dedicated to X-Men who maybe have not who are not alive in this universe, kind of along the way. But I'm excited to see more of these set photos. I love we're in the era of set photos again because we haven't got any in a long time. So very excited to see Doomsday do that. The number one movie at the box office this weekend, Mike, at least domestically, is the movie Sinners. From Ryan Coogler and starring Michael B. Jordan and dual roles as twin brothers. But the costume designer for the movie, Ruth E. Carter, confirmed that Blade, at least at one point, was set a 1920s period piece because when she was doing the costumes for Blade, she was actually called and said, hey, can you do a vampire movie set in the 1920s for us, for Ryan Coogler? And she was like, I was already working on one, so even better. Kind of thing.
Interesting. I wonder if I'm trying to remember what decade Werewolf by Night was set in. I feel like that was close. Like no, it was it modern? Is that kind of what they revealed at the end when it went to color?
Yeah,
it actually was modern, and they just made it look old.
Let me see here. Where's the plot? I don't think it has a time frame in it. I think it's modern though. I do think it is modern.
Yeah, because I think that's what kind of they hinted at when they went full color there at the end.
Oh, where's my MCU timeline from Disney Plus? That's gonna help us.
Yeah, exactly. I need to go check out Sinners. I've heard some really, really good things.
Yeah, it's been out 2
it.
days. It's been out 2 days. You got time. You got some time for this. Werewolf by Night is in after Love and Thunder, but before Guardians of the Galaxy. So,
okay, yeah, very modern.
Yep.
I mean, it would have been an interesting thing, a strategy, set it so early, like even pre-Captain America, obviously, that you're kind of telling maybe the story of kind of monsters within the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's at Europe.
They've always been there. They've always been there, but we're not talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Because I feel like even somebody as all-knowing and smart and has all the resources in the world, like Tony Stark, like, would he be surprised if he met a vampire or a werewolf? Like, he's seen aliens, but monsters is kind of a little different. Would he be like, whoa, we have vampires here on Earth?
Well,
I only had to worry about the aliens from the sky.
It doesn't matter. He's dead. So
that's true. He's not really worrying about anything anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'd be too surprised after like the 5 years, like where the universe kind of came together after Thanos snap. But it would be. I agree. Like Blade, like and like these other monster hunters that we see do exist in the world. We're like, hey. We're hunting them for sport or like keeping the numbers down and they're trying to hide, so they don't want to be seen. Vampires don't want to be found, but like someone's still hunting them. But like you said, 20s would have been a great time, and they still could, Mike. They still could. We just don't know right now where Blade sits on the roster or production schedule. So womp womp. But pretty cool. Kind of get that confirmation from. A costume. We're probably just like, oh, this stuff for Blade. Oh, it's delayed. I'm just gonna move it over here to this other table, and that's
yeah.
That's what we're gonna use for Sinners now. So, go team. That's it for news. We kind of sped through it here to get to the end part here to talk a little bit about Daredevil Born Again, which wrapped up this week on Disney Plus, and again we didn't bring it up in Star Wars, but Andor season 2 starts this week. Takes Daredevil's place on weekly news shows, but Daredevil Born Again season 1, 9 episodes to wrap up season 1, and season 2 is confirmed to be March of next year. Mike, I don't know if you saw that from the showrunner. So they're looking to film it now and get it going in an annual pattern, which is great, right? Annual television. What do we call that? Is it scheduled TV? Is that the title, the phrase for it? Appointment.
Sure.
Appointment. It's appointment television. That's what it's called. Like where you come in every week at the same time to watch stuff, right? You get used to the schedule. So appointment television, back at it. So just real fast, Daredevil Born Again is essentially the sequel loosely to Netflix's Daredevil's 3 seasons. And I would say the Punisher's 2 seasons, if you will, as well. And that's not a spoiler. They obviously have used the Punisher in a lot of the marketing for this. So those 2 shows for sure. I don't even think the Defenders is in this reference at all in this, or are the other characters, but still something here. So I think if we have no other questions, I think we just go in full spoilers because it's hard to kind of talk around this show that's been going on for about 2 months. If you will. So if you've not seen, if you've not seen Daredevil Born Again, you can stop here, come back when you're ready, and have watched it. If you have watched it, we're gonna kind of go in full conversations because again, 9 episodes, 9 weeks. It's really hard to not talk about some of this stuff, right, across the board. So, Mike, you watched weekly. I'm not as astute as you. I had to binge watch a lot this week to catch up to that. So. I'll let you have the table or the floor here because I've been kind of introducing the show a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great start. I felt like I was right back in like the comfy, cozy world of Hell's Kitchen that they introduced in the Netflix show. Everything felt right. The set dressings were good. The violence was not toned down. A lot of people thought that maybe it would be Disney Plusified, and that was furthest thing from the truth. I liked the story angle of just like, how do we kind of get Matt back out of the suit so he can kind of earn his way or fall back into his old ways, into the suit again, and like the death of Foggy was was a big way to do it. I mean, that opening scene kind of left my jaw on the floor a little bit. I had no idea what was going to happen. But I was a little lost. I didn't watch the 3rd season of Daredevil, so I had to watch some recaps, and I watched a few more than my wife watched before we started watching this. So I knew a little bit more about Bullseye than she did. So we had to keep kind of like referring to the notes to be like, wait, does he hate the Kingpin? Does he like the Kingpin? I think in one of the recaps, the Kingpin like broke his back over his leg. So like, I wouldn't say it was as smooth of a transition as maybe they alluded to us. Like, I don't think I could fully tell somebody, oh, you could watch this without watching any of the other Daredevil stuff.
To that point, I do think it was a smooth transition, but that means you had a lot of homework. I think that how smooth it was, like, yeah, if you watch season 3, guess what? We're picking up right where it left off, but like, boy, there's a lot of homework there, right? Like,
yeah, it was. And then they allude a lot to Vanessa alludes to her husband being gone, and that's basically the Echo and Hawkeye TV series too. So there is but all of that being considered, they kind of just hit the ground running. And I actually really love the procedural like law bits, like the first couple episodes where they're trying to exonerate White Tiger. I kind of loved the bottle episode of the bank. I could see some people maybe not liking it, but it was just kind of fun. I just love this idea of like a hero kind of being undercover, you know, like Matt can't, like he could at any point, you know, probably take out all of these bad guys and save everybody in the bank, but he doesn't have his suit. So how does he go about doing that? He has to do things just right. He has basically kind of like X-ray vision, but not. So that was a fun episode too. But it kind of fell apart a little bit for me in the very last episode. I just really didn't like the last episode. The team up with him and the Punisher briefly was fun. That relationship is very strained and entertaining to watch for sure. But the last episode is where I really, really felt all of the news bits where we talked about it on this show, where we talked about, oh, it was going to be 18 episodes. Then it got trimmed back, but then some already got filmed, so they're keeping some of it, but then they're doing some new filming, but they actually said that they kept a lot. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. This almost kind of feels like a mid-season finale to me in a way, not a season 1 finale. I just did not feel satisfied leaving that episode at all. Like, and there's this kind of weird moment where where Daredevil makes it to the docks, you know, after learning that, you know, of the Kingpin scheme of it being a free port, and then he gets talked out of going in there, kind of quote unquote guns a-blazing. And then he's just like, all right, well, we're just going to do this weird setup shot where he's outside of these rocks and he wants to go there. Then Karen tells him, no, don't do it. He's like, okay. And then they leave. So like there was like no even reason for him to be there. Mm-hmm. And then they did their best to try to like get everyone excited for season 2. You know, they did their best. He had this huge speech where he talks about he's going to take the city back and everything. But then the reveal is that he's just talking to these characters in Josie's bar that like we could care less about because we don't really know them except for Josie and the one cop that he's been working with as a PI. I wasn't expecting to see Luke Cage or Jessica Jones, so don't think I was expecting that, but I did see the really bad photoshops of people out there. So I wasn't that delusional, but like I was hoping to leave on a better note. But the story was engaging. The fact that Kingpin was able to like make this like dirty task force that he has to fight back against. So like I would give this like a solid B, but it could have been an A. So I have higher hopes for season 2 because now like the path is clear, the rubble's out of the road. I don't have to worry about like what the episode order was going to be. That we can just press on for season 2. Okay. So, what did you think, Chris?
I've had way better times than watching Daredevil Born Again, and I hate to be that person, but like this, I strip all the new stuff I know out of this very, very well. This despite Marvel saying everything is connected, this feels like the Netflix show because nothing else in the world other than Kamala Khan's dad, who happens to be a banker in New York, despite living in Jersey City. I don't know what that travel is. That can't be a quick route. Is it like you're not just traveling to Jersey City to New York? Is so isolated and so tiny from Marvel. Like, this is New York. This is the mayor of New York now, right? Like, how are Thunderbolts going to deal with this? How's Spider-Man tied into this? This was just a waste of my time and everybody else's, I feel, if you thought you were getting a Marvel show that actually cared about being connected to everything, because it's not. It is so far removed from everything else. It just felt so time wasty at the end of the day. Now, maybe, again, to your point, I'm not unexcited for season 2. But like, I hope they can actually make this actually like a connected world rather than have the mayor of the city where everything is set and happens in since Avengers actually interact with other characters, right? Like, I get it. The Spider-Man rights are a tricky situation. Perfectly fine. But what about a Hawkeye took place in New York, right? Even the Sword Master showed up for a couple seconds at a gala. If you remember the actor who played Swordmaster, like her, I guess not her stepdad or whatever, but like was there. And I didn't feel like anything was connected, and like, it's so weird to watch this. I also think that the actor who plays Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio, can drop the voice. I think he can just get rid of the voice. I think that it was maybe cool in 2015, but it's so grating now. When I see him on screen and have to talk, I just want to turn it off at the end of the day. I wish I was having fun, and maybe that's the reason why I couldn't like get myself to watch it all, because I just don't care. Do you remember Muse was in the show, Mike? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
How little was he in this show?
Yeah, and I was extra confused because we had reports on the show a couple weeks ago that the character was supposed to be popping up in season 2, and like, no, he pretty much got like 5 bullets to the chest. He's gone. Mm-hmm. Unless there's like a copycat that pops up or something from Muse. Yeah, definitely not without its faults for sure. I totally agree with this whole. This is the problem when New York is kind of the center of the universe for just Marvel in general, whether it's like comics or movies or TV shows. I've seen a lot of people when that latest Thunderbolts trailer came out, and you see the Void kind of like voiding out people. Yeah, you know, that's in New York City, and they're like, well, what is Fisk going to do about this? I don't think his task force is going to be able to touch that. So yeah, are they going to acknowledge that in any sort of way? And
normally I would be like, yeah, that's fine, but like, I'm at the point where like you said, New York is everything to this, right? Like, everything is New York. Like, literally, there's no like, other than mentioning Jersey City where Miss Marvel was, and that's not New York. That's great. They got her out of there, but like, everything else is just taking place here. And Muse was again, maybe he's in season 2, probably not, like you said. But boy, that was a waste of a character, like doing something like how did Daredevil find him? He just showed up on a train track when he was like, had the white tiger's niece, like draining her blood.
How did she find it?
Yeah.
Because the whole city of New York is trying to find this guy.
Yeah.
And then I guess White Tiger had some notes scribbled down, so maybe that's how. But I mean, I don't know the New York subway system. Maybe it is a maze that is unknowable. Yeah. But I almost just kind of felt like, wouldn't this just be pretty easy to find? It was like right. It wasn't even like hidden down a couple corridors. It was just like, you just go down this one train line. It's one door, and there it is. He's pumping blood out of people.
Right, and like, he's like going to the door and looking down in this mask, like. You think he'd have like a security system or a camera system to see if anyone was sneaking up on him?
A bell on a string.
Yeah, like Muse was absolutely wasted. It just kind of came and went super fast. Some of the fun stuff, I will say, Charlie Cox, all the actors in the show are fantastic. I have no issues with the acting. It was seeing obviously, what was Frank Castle doing in like a half basement of a building. Like and
I don't know. I didn't watch Punisher season 2. I have no
right.
idea.
Well, I didn't either. But I was like, that's kind of an interesting place to like, Matt just knows where he is, and he's not really hiding either. Like his door was open, I guess. But he had cameras, so I think they tease the camera scenes. Couple things I wish we had, Mike. I wish they would show us Daredevil's vision. Fuck it. It's Disney now. They have money to give us a couple things with Daredevil vision. Sure, it can look different than Netflix did. We don't need to see a world on fire. Do some really cool sonar looking shots. There was a scene where he went to look for the bullet casing for the White Tiger's killer, and like he's listening to the mini liquor bottle roll down the hill into the drain. Really cool visually, but I'm like, let's see some Daredevil POVs, right? Like, get some fun stuff in here that's different and makes us visually appealing, because other than that, it's just, more hallways that Matt Murdock loves to walk down. And how many times are we going to see him take his, like, walking cane and fold it up? Because I saw a lot of him folding up the walking cane as well. And the bottle episode, I enjoyed the bottle episode. Number one, St. Patrick's Day is my birthday. I absolutely love that. That was really fun. It was also cool, like how he was listening to the heart. Like, it would have been cool if we could have seen it, but like how he's listening to the heartbeats, and he knew the woman was in on this the whole time, kind of thing. Was really fun. But like, all those characters literally showed up in the next episode, and like a grouping in like Wilson Fisk's office. Like, oh, the guy for sanitation just happens to be one of the hostages for this kind of thing, and now he's gonna go tell Fisk all the paintings are done with blood in the next episode. I'm like, you just picked the actors that were on set that day to film as hostages. Like, you could have just picked somebody else, I guess, at the end of the day. But all in all, like, I'm excited for season 2. I was just not impressed with this because I thought we were going to be getting something a little better, a little deeper than what we got on Netflix, right? Especially with the reduced episode count, the monetary changes, the change in the story, which, we've heard reportedly where like they filmed redid the first episode and the last 2. They refilmed all of Vanessa's episodes because they had to recast the actress as well. They also did it with D'Onofrio, refilmed every scene with her, by the way. They didn't like fake it in there. So I thought that was pretty fun. But man, I just feel let down for like kind of what we were promised from Daredevil, like a born again Daredevil that's supposed to be better than what we like, just what we had before, but better. I didn't get that, Mike, and I feel upset by this.
You know what? I liked it more than you did, but your feelings are totally valid. I can totally imagine myself in your shoes. So cross our fingers for season 2.
And maybe it's because I like, and this is like the different. You watched them weekly, and I binged them. Like, maybe I saw the cracks because I watched them all together, rather than like gave myself some time, because like I really saw it. So again, I think season 2 next March. Nothing against that. I will be watching it, but currently I challenge Marvel to do better and like, hey, build your world, build your connected world, because guess what happens next May, Mike, in Marvel? Doomsday.
It all goes to shit.
Yes, so hopefully we get to see some of that and some longer effects other than, hey, remember that time all our worlds collided? That was silly. Let's go and have a court case. So either way, that's where I'm at. Sorry, people are going to be like, Chris, you suck. You don't like Daredevil. But sorry, not sorry. It is what it is. I tried to like it. I tried so hard, but couldn't bring myself there. All right, Mike, anything else you want to add to this before we pop off of here?
I think we good.
All right. Well, if people want to know what you're up to, Michael, and what you're doing, where can they find you at?
Oh, they can find my webcomics at liferewardsrisk.com and pickledcomics.com. Chris, I want to catch you. Where are you at?
You can find me on Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN, or Video Game Systems with the same name. If people want to know more about the show, where we come back every week and do all the news, and I believe, as we get into the summer season, we're going to be getting a lot more news. We're going to get all these goodies at.
Oh, head on over to superheroslate.com. That is our multiverse for all of the stuff we do here at the show. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you're listening to podcasts. You can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. What are you playing? What are you watching? What are you reading? Let us know. And we love our super fans. So if you want to be a super fan of this show, All you have to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we'll be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week.